Hello, everyone. I am so excited. We got a bombshell from DC today, so we're going to take a look at it. But I want to make sure that we get to the people that I appreciate being here. First off, Drew from Comics Elite. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Bianca. I haven't talked to you today all day. But how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome. Robert, how are you?
Not too bad. Just got done with a long day of work.
Oh, super fun. Always fun. Usually I do stream on Sundays, but because of just that exact reason, I moved it till Friday. And Comic Boom. Rocky, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to our discussions. Fun to be here.
I know. I do videos on the subject, but I always am curious what everybody else thinks. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about Dark Crisis and all of the fun. And I did hear right before stream that the merger with Discovery is a go. Everything's good. So I don't know what that means, but it should be interesting. So I want to take a look. I did look. There was no way I could wait till stream to look at that trailer that we got today from the cinematic universe. Did you guys have a chance to check it out?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am. I'm so
I
like.
forgot
Okay.
that we have 4 movies coming out this year from DC. Really, usually
spoiled.
Yeah, I was about to say, feel kind of spoiled, and we still have any of the stuff that's going to be on HBO Max.
Well, that, and we've also got Peacemaker going on right now. I just finished
Oh, yeah.
reading about that. Oh my god, I've never loved a show that I didn't want before so much. It is so fun. Like, are you guys checking Peacemaker out at all? I don't want to give any spoilers, but
Oh yes. Well, I'm loving Peacemaker.
Yep, same here.
this episode, right? I'm not gonna give any spoilers, Chad. Don't worry, but right to the freaking heart, right to the heart.
Well, it already got me yesterday. I don't think I can go any lower from yesterday.
I know.
Last week.
I know. I can't. Oh my gosh. And I know Drew is a huge fan of how they're doing Vigilante, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Which is why I kept watching it after the first episode.
I knew it. I see.
No.
It's that my spider sense. That's what we're gonna call it.
No,
Okay,
it's
let
just-
me.
Not a bat sense.
No, oh wait. Bats have their echolocation, but okay. We're not going to go into logistics here. Okay, thank you guys. I'm going to move the chat for a little bit while we take a look at this because I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through it. Is anybody looking? If my computer lets me. What is going on here? It's absolutely not letting me.
What's going on? I love that song.
Wait, which one? What's going on by Four Non Blondes?
No.
Oh my god,
What's
it's so
going on
good.
by Nobody Knows?
By no. What?
No, this is an actual real song, by the way. I like listening to it.
True, sorry. I had to start. What is going? Okay, you guys hold tight. I'm gonna go out. Well, now it's letting me. Am I back?
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, whatever it was, it worked, and I'm already getting people.
Oh boy, hominin.
What's going on by Marvin Gaye? That's right. Okay, so let's take a look here. I will share my screen. What are you guys looking forward to the most when it comes to the 4?
Black Adam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Black Adam.
I would say. Well, part of me wants to say all of them, but I'm looking forward to Batman more.
Oh, you know what? I didn't think about, because Batman's not really like in the, here we go. In the cinematic universe, right?
No, but it's in this video, so.
I know. Okay, so yeah, you're right. The Batman.
Which is what you asked. You asked which of the 4 are we looking forward to?
That's true. What about you, Bianca? Bianca.
AB.
Okay, well, she's MIA.
Okay, well, which ones are you guys looking forward to the least? Oh, never mind.
No, you're fine.
By comparison, it doesn't have to be like you think it's gonna be bad, but by comparison. Oh,
Aquaman.
she's back.
I would say Batman the least for me.
What?
Yeah.
Drew, you have terrible taste. You're a nice person, but you have terrible taste.
I'm sorry, what are we talking about?
First of all, since you missed the question, which of the 4 movies in this this little teaser are you looking forward to the most and the least?
The most would be the Batman. The least would be Aquaman. Or no, wait, sorry, switch that to the Flash.
Oh.
That's
Yeah, the
fair.
least is the Flash for me too. What about you, Drew? Oh, you said Batman. Oh yeah. Terrible taste. I remember.
Say, yep. And what about you, Rocky?
Honestly, this is like my trying to choose between my favorite fruits. I really am looking forward to all of them. I love Black Adam the most. I just love Black Adam. I hope it doesn't become a Dwayne Johnson movie. I hope he gives Black Adam some justice. But if like I like them all, but if I had to choose the one that I think is going to be the most predictable, I think it's going to be Aquaman. So, but I still think it's going to be good. But I think it's going to be the most predictable. I think the Batman, Black Adam, and Flash, which is a Flashpoint story, from what I understand, is the one that I'm looking at forward to those 3 the most.
I'll be honest, the Flash is the one that I am more trepidatious about, given how all the stuff going on behind it. And, with the writer on board and everything, there's just so many red flags for the Scarlet Speedster.
Who's the writer for the Flash?
Same woman who did Birds of Prey.
Well, it's like how many writers? I mean, how many versions of the scripts have they had by now over the years? And there's been several writers working on this.
I only heard people talking about the director who did the first 2 It movies.
Andy Muschietti.
Yeah, and he could probably do it. But again, there's just so much stuff that's been done and rechanged on there. Could it be like No Way Home, where who knows how things went with that behind the scenes? Possibly.
Yeah, that had issues too.
But given how this is Warner Brothers and DC, who doesn't have the greatest of track records when you have a lot of behind-the-scenes issues, it'd have to be a miracle. So,
well, wait. When you think about it, compare the 2 Wonder Woman movies. The first one had Zack Snyder as writing, even though lots of people.
Well, he was a producer with the plotting,
And who was the director was
Patty Jenkins proposed.
Patty Jenkins. So who knows?
Yeah, and I didn't think Birds of Prey was bad, but it was fun. It just wasn't, the story wasn't there for me. It didn't feel like Birds of Prey. Like Cassandra Cain. That was
name only.
That was not Cassandra Cain. I will say that till the day I die. That was not.
Oh my God! But like the Harley parts were fun,
especially the action.
Harley, but then you get into the weird stuff, and it was just like, okay, so we're just playing with other people's toys, and we're not going to play with them correctly, and that's what we're doing here. I actually watched a video earlier, and I clicked on it, and I don't normally do this. I clicked on Grace Randolph's video, and the first 2 minutes I had to turn it off because it was going through this. Everything's not that great because Jeff Johns is polluting it. I'm like, what?
Seriously?
I was like, Jeff Johns? What?
Okay, I hate to bring him up, but this kind of gives credence to what Ethan had tried saying a while ago. When the few things I would agree with him on, it's clear Zach had kind of tainted Grace into hating Jeff to this degree just so her buddy Zach now can try and get a chance to get back.
Well, not that I'm a fan of Snyder stuff, but that's some shady shit. And I love Jeff Johns. I will stand Jeff Johns until the day I die.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this. I'm gonna pause it quite a few times. Because there's a couple things there's one big I don't know about this that I gotta point out.
It doesn't deal with Cyclone?
Yes, absolutely. It deals with Cyclone.
Dealing with Batman?
No. I just gotta say this. Hold on. Okay, it already went past. Selena Kyle, I was not so sure about Kravitz as Selena at first.
She looks like year one Selena.
She looks to me like a Darwin Cook Selena Kyle.
Well, Frank Miller, phenomenal. You said it. Frank Miller's Selena Kyle. Yeah.
From year one. That's the short, the buzz cut hair and everything.
Yeah, hopefully we'll find out.
And she does match the darker color that technically Selena was colored. A lot of people were saying,
I always thought she was black in year one, and then I didn't.
I'll be honest, so did I. I thought she was when I first read it.
Hey, look at that. She looks so
just
good.
Really tanned white people.
That's true. They're ambiguously brown.
Especially when you compare her to Holly, though. People want to say, "Oh, it's just the lighting." Then why is it Holly looks whiter?
Holly Berry, Catwoman. We don't talk.
No. Holly, her friend.
Oh, I'm like, me and Bianca did a video on that. We don't
No,
ever.
no.
speak
I
of that
meant,
Catwoman again.
I was talking about Holly, her friend. When you have the two in the same shot back in year one, and Selena looks much darker than Holly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, look at that shot. Come on, let's just
Love
embrace the beauty of it. I never thought reading comics growing up we would get a Black Adam centered movie.
You know,
ever.
there was so much talk about it. It's like, this is never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Hey, finally, it's happening.
Yeah.
Hasn't he been kind of championing it
Like
for
10
like
years.
yeah.
Over 10 years.
Well, before the
Yeah.
DC universe, the DCEU even started, like back when they were doing Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably 15 years he's been talking about this.
Because he loves the character that much, and I think that's part of the reason why I don't think there's going to be a Dwayne Johnson movie. I think you do not stick around with it that long because your ego is saying, "Oh, this is basically me."
Real quick, is anybody a little disappointed he doesn't have hair or pointy ears, or is that just me?
Some versions don't. Some versions don't.
I know.
Yeah, it's a small thing, but I think we're not really going to be focusing on that.
Yeah, if we were focusing on the ears and not at a six-pack, somebody'd be wrong.
Yeah.
Well, and as comic book fans, we're going to pick more than an average audience goer would anyway. So maybe
True.
it's just me. Now, when it comes to Cyclone, we'll get there. We'll get there. I promise.
My
That
son
shot.
dreamt of a better world.
So is that? Maybe I should go. This goes by so quick.
Yes, it does.
Look at.
Oh yeah.
Love it. Love
And
it.
I love how in the comics whenever we've seen with the hood, it's in perfect condition. It makes more sense for it to be ratted out and tattered, especially since I'm guessing, given the background, he just got blasted.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It looks so beautiful. Like
Black Phoenix, to be fair, I see the comment he just did. He starts out a villain. He's not ever. Okay, he has been a villain one time, but let's be honest. What attracted Dwayne and so many others is the anti-hero.
He's the Doctor Doom of the DC universe, more or less. Just that dictator. You don't know.
He's so much
Well, when you don't have
Dr.
Lord
Doom.
Havoc around, yes, you're exactly right.
Yes. But look, we've got right here. We've even got Hawkman behind him. And you know what? When I first seen this, I'm like, these are just Dwayne Johnson's ears, and now I feel bad because I definitely thought they had him pointy, but his ears are just pointy.
Big ears.
They do look kind of pointy. Kind of. Sort of.
I totally thought they were going for it, and I'm like, wow, that's shocking. Oh no, he just has pointy ears.
Dreamt of a better world.
So this ship.
They think it's Aquaman.
This isn't Aquaman. This is still Black Adam.
Black Adam. Oh.
Oh,
we
because
see
of the
this
ship.
in another- yeah, we see the ship in another shot. This has got to be like,
Is
The
it
JSA
Hawkman?
ship?
yes,
Is it Hawkman's ship?
Could be.
it might be,
Or the JSA ship. Because we do see Cyclone walking on a ship later.
Yes.
It could be a Justice Society ship.
Oh, and there's the flashbacks.
So he says, "My son."
Yeah, that's the one thing that confuses.
but I
That's the
don't-
one thing that confuses me. In Jeff Johns' version, it was his nephew, and he stole the powers. I don't recall anything dealing with his son. The only time that I dealt with someone that was younger was, like I said, was
Ice's
his nephew.
kid, but
Was it
Yeah.
Icarus?
Ice's
Wasn't
nephew.
it? Wasn't it Icarus? Was his son? Was that who? What was that his name?
I don't know if we ever focused on his son.
I don't
I mean,
recall
I
it
could
being his son. There was.
No, it was a nephew. It was a nephew in Jeff
Osiris.
Johns.
It was the nephew
Osiris, that's
Osiris
it. That's it.
in 52.
Osiris was never official. Well, yeah, he married. That would be he was a brother-in-law.
Right,
well,
to
regardless,
Isis,
it's
yeah.
probably going to give us the tragedy that befell him,
Was it
right? Like
perfect?
And it's going to repeat again in the present, I bet.
Well,
that face, like, oh. It's
Love
weird. Is it weird to anyone else that like WWE people are good? Like they come out and they're this amazing actors. Like
Most of them.
not all. Yes, not all.
Come on, Ronda Rousey. Come on. Do we have to point out her Sonya voice
oh my
acting?
god. Yeah, I forgot about
Did
her. I
Randy
take
Orton
that
do
back.
anything?
Who?
Hey, Kane was in
Orton.
something.
Yeah, but I will say though, I think it's a good thing it took this long for him to get this movie made. If this happened earlier in his acting careers, we'd be laughing. But I think he's done enough movies since then to really get his acting chops going.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
if it was
I
around-
completely agree.
Yeah, it feels like when he did Doom. Yeah, it would be.
Oh
great.
God! Or those Disney movies. Remember those?
Oh yes.
Tooth Fairy,
Yeah.
a quarterback.
Oh my goodness.
You saved me.
So it looks like maybe they beheaded his son.
Looks like it. Beheading something.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, Flash.
It looks pretty. Pretty doesn't mean good, but it looks pretty.
Now, I like how they're going with the Francis Manipul suit.
Yes, I love
With
this
all
suit.
those edges, the lines and everything.
Mhm.
I really do like that.
The detail work is so good in this later shot. I'll show you what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, like with the lenses.
Yep.
The universe. Why'd fight to save this one?
The stealth suit.
The blue suit.
Yeah.
Blue?
80s blue suit.
It's a take on the blue suit that's always been so notorious, yet I never had a problem with it.
No, it looked pretty cool.
Didn't they call it a
feel like
stealth
looks way
suit
too
though?
fitted. I'm sorry.
I think they did call it a stealth suit, yes.
What do you think, Rocky? You're being quiet over there.
The Aquaman. I've never been a fan of the Aquaman stealth suit in comics, but I mean, Jason Momoa, it looks fantastic on him. I mean, he let's face it, he makes it his own. He rocks it. He does.
That's like he rocked the
Aquaman
gold
cool
suit.
again.
It's like he rocked the gold suit.
He makes riding a seahorse look badass. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly right.
That's right.
Yep.
What could be greater than a king?
That is such a good shot.
Oh, again, see what I mean? He rocks the gold suit.
Yes.
I still don't like it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
Not too many guys can wear orange and get away with it. I tell you what.
Yeah, that's true.
like
I
orange
keep
and-
thinking
and
it's a
pretty
weird
bright-
yellow.
Oh, I like it though. Beautiful. What is that there? See if I can get it. Is that Black Adam shooting?
Hold on.
Back
Well, that's
5
the
seconds.
Batmobile.
This is 5 seconds. Yep, Black
Right there,
Adam.
yes, that's
Oh,
Black
yeah, there
Adam.
you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
That looks so.
Now, is there anything talks about there, like, Zachary Levi's not having a cameo in Black Adam, is he?
As far
Not
as we
that I
know,
know
he's
of.
not, but we never know.
Yeah, especially since they've been doing production now on his movie, so they could have snuck him on, or they could green screen it for all we know.
Yeah,
Wait,
absolutely.
Zachary Levi.
Shazam.
Oh.
Because the funny thing these days, nowadays, you could just put a green screen behind a person and just Photoshop them in.
Looks so good though.
The hero.
I just got goose.
Oh, there's Cyclone.
Oh,
want
is
her
that who
hair
that
redder.
was?
Am I the only
Yeah.
one that's gonna complain about the hair? I know I'm a girl. I
Yeah.
get it.
I
Like,
want the red hair too.
The
It was
hair
so she
style
made him
or
so
just the color.
the color.
The color.
I don't care about the style. It's just like, okay,
She was a
Cyclone was
redhead.
one of those characters that I fell in love with.
Oh,
And-
she was just so Bianca, correct me if I'm using the right word, ganky, and that, a hyper kind of, excitable girl.
I've never
And-
heard of
and I
Genki
love
in my
her.
life.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like-
Yankee,
it's
I
like-
would. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that the first issue we meet her, the second issue when you see her like she fangirls out talking to Power Girl.
Oh my gosh!
It's like a huge like a paper length like her text what she's saying to them. It's like
I
I want to
love
see.
it.
Oh
something
yeah,
like
and it's like, hey, yeah, stop talking or we'll revoke
Yeah.
everything. And then she's all crying like,
So freaking cute.
But then of course you later find out part of it is due to stuff that happened to her when she was younger that we never found out what it was.
Never finished it.
Nope.
All right, here we
Oh
go.
well, it's confirmed that one of the person in like Boba Fett, freaking Tamara. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Tamora Morrison.
Yeah, is confirmed to be in the I believe it was rather the Flash or the Black Adam movie. It's the Flash. Sorry.
Really?
All right.
I don't know who that is.
Wait, he
Yeah.
played Aquaman's dad in Aquaman.
Oh.
The orange hair guy?
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, he played Aquaman's dad. He was his dad in the movie. He was, in
Okay,
the
so he's
bar.
in Boba Fett too? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, he plays.
I had never
Boba Fett.
watched Boba Fett. It
No,
looks
he's going to
like-
be in the Flash.
must.
Is what it's
Yeah,
confirmed.
might be if things maybe
Oh!
they're going through different worlds. I'll probably see a world where something happened with Aquaman.
Yes, can somebody tell me
well,
who
if
the
you
heck
get to
this
the
person
Flashpoint
is?
thing,
and-
then yeah, because Aquaman has
It's-
a dark turn in Flashpoint. So yeah.
Well, another person that's confirmed actually in Black Adam is Harcourt from
Which I am interested in how they're going to be setting her up.
Gonna
Oh,
be
I'll
super
tell
excited.
you. Let me tell you. Hold on. I have this all worked out in my head.
Oh yeah, you said that on your video.
What's going to happen in the next episode is Adebayo is going to heroically sacrifice herself in order because she feels so bad about Peacemaker. Harcourt is the new leader in that little group, but it's going to cause Amanda Waller to go crazy. She's going to have to step up and be the leader of the Suicide Squad. Bam! Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
That's
I
an
don't want her
interesting
to
theory.
sacrifice
That's
herself.
What? I know I like Adebayo, but I'm still like, she did him dirty.
again reminding us that she is her mother's daughter, despite the false face she put on.
I like Atom Smasher.
Oh yeah,
Is that
Noah
who that
Centino?
is?
yep.
Yeah, Atom Smasher.
And I have no complaint. And I have no complaints with his change. None.
No.
Wait,
What
wait.
changed?
Is the Atom Smasher
Well,
different
technically he's
from
supposed to
the
be
Atom?
white. Oh yeah. The Atom Smasher he's related to the Atom, but he has his own powers that he makes himself giant and everything.
Yeah.
Whereas the Atom and now you have two Atoms. He's have some ties to the JSA Atom, who was just this short little guy who eventually was retconned to have incredible strength.
And then you have Ryan Cho.
Ryan Choi or Ray Palmer Atom. Those are the ones that actually shrink down. That's not who Atom Smasher was related to. Like I said, it's the JSA, the Golden Age Atom. Like I said, this staunchy little guy, but Atom Smasher can become giant size.
Shouldn't the Atom also be big and small?
Well,
No,
the thing is with
that is the Silver Age Atom.
Yeah, with the Golden Age Atom, he was just a small guy. He was like what 5'5", 5'6".
He wasn't a midget, but he was just short.
Yeah.
That's taller than me.
I'm 4'11".
Poor Bianca. I've got like a few inches on you. I'm so excited.
Let me look. Oh, Golden
Age
Atom.
Now find his height.
Hey, you're both
5'1". He was 5'1".
Oh, there we go.
Oh my goodness, that's a little man.
Yeah, and he was short compared to everyone. Now again, eventually he was retconned to have atomic strength and agility, but beforehand he was just a short little tough guy.
Yeah.
As
My
usual.
goodness. And hence why we bring on Robert, because he's a dictionary. All right,
Hey,
here we
I got a big brain. That is cool.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. That was a new take. I like that.
I don't understand how this trailer is making the Flash movie look so competent.
I know. They got a few shots
Like
in there.
I never saw anything of the Flash. Like no trailers, nothing at all.
The only
And then I'm
there is
seeing
one,
this, and I'm like, why you make it look good?
because they're showing us more than just the stuff setting up what went on to with his mom and all that.
No,
You know
I
what
think
this
it's
reminds
because
me of, though?
of the directing. Like when you see moments of him, it actually looks like it's good acting compared to how he acted in both of the Justice Leagues.
Wait, you
I'm
didn't
just
like him as the Flash?
No.
He was more tolerable in the Snyder Cut. He was less weird, slightly less weird in the Snyder Cut, but
in this one, I'm not sensing any weirdness at all, and that's
Ezra Miller. There's bound to be weirdness.
Yeah,
unless you're a good director.
One of my favorite moments still has to always be in the Justice League. Eyes are cut, and he like, I hear you run fast. That's an oversimplification. I just love that pause he has there before he's like, do I correct Batman? Yeah, I'm gonna correct him. You could just that's what's going through his mind. It's like, that's an oversimplification.
Well, I'm gonna say something that's might make me a little bit of an outlier to Snyderverse fans, and I don't mind the Snyder Cut, but I actually like this preview of all the movies because I think it's decidedely different tone. It's
exactly
light, it's lighter. It's not the Snyder Cut, and thank God. Now, it is still a little bit. Frankly, I still think it's a little bit darker than I would like, even for the trailer. However, it has lighter moments. It has more. I want to decidedly. I don't want this. I don't know. I want to just. It has to distinguish itself from the Snyderverse in my mind. Maybe there's a huge facet of I know there's a lot of pop culture that would disagree with me on that, but I don't want a repeat of the same tone. I'm glad it never had operatic music opera music. and
Slow
slow, and
motion.
No, we know of that. We know
every
of.
single
Yeah,
scene is all crazy and
Can I-
slow mo. It's like it has to be a different tone. It has to be I think it pulled that off. I think it.
Can
did
I
that.
give my own theory I've had recently about the Flashpoint is, what if instead of just excising all the Snyder Cut verse stuff, what if it's going to try and find a way to blend the Snyder Cut version and the Snyderverse and the Whedon Cut version into one so you can have both be happy?
I don't think there's any way. I like that whole
How would-
rumor where they
yeah.
were getting rid of the Snyderverse. That's not happening. The characters are still within this. So I think
we
it's
can't
just
do
going
that.
to be what we've seen similar to stuff in Flashpoint. He's going to fuck up and he's going to have to fix it.
And
Like,
it's going to be a close enough timeline. It's going to be a close enough.
Yeah, it's like
And I
Back to the
love
Future
this.
too. Yeah.
I love this photo here because you know those when you go to like when you watch like the Olympics, if anyone still does that, but at least I did it when I was younger. You know those
Yeah.
like when they would
With the
go
speed
to ski?
skaters.
Yes.
Yep.
It looks just like it to me, and I think that
So that's what he's going for.
yeah, it's beautiful. I think it's really, really like I can see a little bit of the Snyder tone in Black Adam, a little bit darker in those, but the other ones feel I don't know. I'm not a Snyder person at all,
Mhm.
but this feels more fresh to me, right? Like it feels something. It feels like it's something we haven't gotten before, and that makes me at least relatively hopeful. Especially like, just wait. Oh my gosh, there's so much good shots of Black Adam in here.
If we don't stand up, no one will.
I love that Selena says that. Okay.
Well, it's better than Anne Hathaway, Selena.
I never liked her, Selena.
Or Halle Berry. Selena, by the
Oh.
way. Yeah.
We don't talk about
That's not
Halle
even
Berry.
Selena. She was never even Selena anyway.
Oh yeah, she was like, I don't even remember. That's how. Was it Tabitha or something? It was weird.
No, it was a P or something.
Precious? I don't know.
Precious, yeah.
Hey, it wasn't even that long ago I watched it. That's how unforgettable that movie, or forgettable that movie is.
Come with us.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Now, so
I
they're
was
going with the more
disappointed with
Sanagarian technology as opposed to the real wings.
But
I
you know,
wanted real wings though.
they do look like real. That's just it. They look real, but they're technological wings, which is damn awesome. Love it.
Which
Now
is,
here's
I think they're finally doing what they've
that kills
described. I think they're going with what they've always described the wings as, but most artists never actually drew them as.
What were you saying, Bianca?
Oh,
Sorry.
as soon as
No,
I
you're
hear the which is the technology of the wings coming out, that's what kills it for me. I just like wings.
I
Well,
get
what,
it.
what do you guys
technology
think of
wing.
the character, the design? Because I think it's interesting that it looks red. It looks red and gold as opposed to green and
know.
gold.
You can't
right?
tell because of the lighting, though. That's the problem.
It kind of looks like the new 52 Hawkman look, the Savage Hawkman look.
Yeah.
Kind
that
of. Yeah.
Liefeld gave him.
No, it was before Liefeld. Liefeld came in later. At first, it was Philip Tan who did it.
That's it, Phil. Yeah.
Birdman.
I'm a dork.
I love his helmet though. I
love
love
the
the way
helmet.
it goes down below the jaw. It's you. The only thing I could say is like we were talking about Snyder stuff. The background still here. The tone feels very dark. I wish he would stand out a little bit more. I know it's just a teaser.
No,
But, like-
one small thing I want to see is with. So I'm a big fan of Rags Morales and his Hawkman. His Hawkman.
Oh,
is
yes.
my all-time favorite. And one thing I love
Jeff
about
Johns
it
and Rags, yep.
is the eyes. His way he draws the Hawkman eyes in the mask. I would really love to see the hawk eyes. You know, the eyes of a hawk. You know, when we see his mask, but I don't think
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna get that.
Yeah.
But
Are we
anyway,
getting
yeah.
Hawk Girl in Shazam? Wasn't that a rumor a while ago? In silence.
You say
That was a
yes.
rumor, but I've heard nothing since then, unless you guys have.
Yeah, I thought I heard vaguely that maybe meant she may be showing up or not, maybe. But hey, we get Hawkman. That's awesome. I'll take it.
It looks like, I was going to say, looks like we have a question for Drew.
Oh,
We got a question for you.
not yet, not now. As soon as we start
hilarious.
talking about the whatever
Good stuff.
or
Prices.
coming out, then I'll start drinking that. Yeah. No,
We gotta get.
Oh, we got another bot. Where's the
Yes.
bot at? Where's the bot at? Oh, there it is.
I wish, and I I know I'm being picky, and this could just be one scene. It just feels very like I want some color.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
that is
just me.
kind of a little annoying.
But where is he
talent.
at the moment?
Looks like he's in
Probably
Kandahar.
Yeah, Kandak.
Kandak.
We
Yes,
all
yeah.
literally said it different.
Kandak. It's Kandak.
Where is that?
Conduct. It's a fictional place.
Yeah.
Ah,
Just like Umek, which was unnamed Middle Eastern country. They actually named the country that.
Or Iranistan and the Venture Brothers.
It's a glorious world.
Oh, we're about to come up. Oh, here's Brosnan's voice has been perfect.
Yes.
Okay, I have 2 complaints here. Where are his eyes?
that was my only
That's a good
complaint.
question.
Fate needs no eyes.
I can
Well,
actually.
let's wait. He holds the helmet later. Let's look at the helmet from a
That's
different
true.
angle when we
That's
see
true.
it.
And we see the ship again. So
Yep.
they must be coming. Oh my god.
But yeah, we're about to.
The
Yep.
casting here is so perfect.
Except for Cyclone.
Well, I'm not saying it's as far as I so far have issues with, it's her hair and her costume. Well, I think that's coming up real quick here.
Yep. It doesn't look bad. At least they keep the witch aspect of her costume a little, like with the pointy shoulders and everything, and
So
just how
does
it
she
looks.
have the stripe leggings?
That's what I
Well,
want
we
to
can't
know.
see. We can't see. But where's her hat? Where's the pointy hat?
Oh, she has a pointy hat too.
Oh, yeah, there's no way that hat's gonna fit on that hair.
Funny enough, every artwork I've seen of her does not wear a pointy hat, so I would have never have known there was no pointy
Well,
hat.
I don't see an issue not having a hat, but she better have some like sweet leggings. Like
Yeah.
that, and then the costume will be great.
And where's the scarf? The scarf is supposed to be there so it can flutter in the wind.
Yeah.
But then
Or
again, no, that
choker
was probably done for artistic reasons
Right.
than it was for actual appearances. So since we'll actually be seeing the wind, like real life, like with her hair and everything, we probably don't need the scarf. But I love the scarf.
Wait,
But
so does
she
she have
was a
like
kid.
red
She was-
highlights in her hair?
Kinda. Go ahead, Drew. What'd you say?
I just said it's like that showed like how much of a kid she was. Her costume was colorful, playful. Like,
Mhm.
it was.
Even though she was in college, if I recall, right?
Yeah, she was, and it's like they've kind of taken that away, that playful aspect of it, and
This is
Yeah, the
Snyder.
most we have her
What are you
saying
talking
she's all
about?
tingly
serious all the
earlier.
time.
What's that,
No,
Bianca?
no one's gonna know who this is. This was a per choice.
It's the
of a
Snyder
character.
verse. It's gonna be all serious all the time.
yeah.
No, don't say that. Take it back, Bianca. Take
Well,
it
you
back.
see
You're
it
right
with
though,
her
Rocky.
outfit?
Like with her not being a huge, she's not a huge character even in DC Comics. We just love her personally. They can take a little bit
like
more
the character.
creative
I'm just saying
liberties.
it was a very odd choice. I thought it was a very odd choice, and it doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit the other characters, in my humble opinion. But I'm kind of like old school JSA, so that's my bias.
Right.
I'd rather
Anyone
have
think we're
Liberty
gonna-
Bell or somebody else or something like that.
Oh, that would have been
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
What would have been cool? What would have been cool?
Liberty
Liberty
Bell.
Bell.
Oh, I heard someone say. I saw one of you guys said, "What would have been cool?" I thought that's what I heard.
Oh, I did. I said it. I wonder if we're gonna see Mahanko.
Isn't she supposed to be? Oh no, the rumor. Well, everyone can say one of them's going to be like non-binary and end up being Cyclone, but people kept thinking they were going to do it to Ma.
I mean, Cyclone's not non-binary. I think just the actress is, as far as I know. But I could be.
But weren't they looking for an actress to be non-binary specifically?
I don't know. Maybe. I follow it pretty close, but I never heard that. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh yes, yes.
Love it.
I'm gonna say a hot take. I personally think this looks a lot better than Ant-Man.
Oh
cool.
God, that's
It
not a
does.
hot take.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't want
Love it.
Ant-Man
Tristan, look at what Hominid wants to make sure you read.
Let's address this important moment here. Tristan has a crush. Oh, Pierce Brosnan. I grew
Hey,
up
Soup.
on. Oh, hello, Soup. I grew up on him on
As Bond?
007, right? And he's such a what do they call it? A silver fox?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Is that the guy with the
goodness
beard?
So long as he doesn't sing. So long as he doesn't sing.
Wait, why would he sing?
Did you ever see Mamma Mia?
Oh, I think I did years ago.
But I want him
I
to
love
come
Mamma
back.
Mia.
I want him to come back for the Netflix King of Spies movie. I want
Yes.
Oh
him
my God,
to
yes.
old man
Yeah.
Bond.
Everyone is
Good.
saying that.
That's really
Everyone is
good.
saying that.
I missed
That
it.
Which means
What
we're not
was
going to get it.
What are we not
Have
getting?
you been reading King of Spies, Rocky? I know you. We
Yeah,
reviewed the
certainly.
first
I've
one.
been reviewing it. In fact, my issue 3 is going to drop probably by the end of the week. But yeah, I'm loving King of Spies.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so
Yeah.
wonderfully tropey and kind of predictable, but boy, is it fun and violent.
Exactly.
Perfectly
Exactly.
killer,
It's
you know.
fun.
Come on, it's awesome.
Okay, so let's get through the choice. Let's finish it through
We're
this,
talking
yeah.
about. Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Okay, now do we see the helmet? Do we see the helmet? I can't even.
Oh, there's
no
eyes.
eyes. There's no eyes. There's like a nose area, but there's no
What's the hole
eyes.
there then?
I think that's
That
an eye
an
right
eye?
there. Yeah.
I can't think that's a reflection. I think that's a reflection.
No. There's a reflection right next to it, but that's a hole.
Oh, then it's a big hole then.
Maybe it closes like the Flash. He had those things covering his eyes.
Maybe.
That could be. That actually is a good theory. But doesn't he look great?
Oh
He
yeah.
looks amazing.
Let's
Absolutely.
bask in it.
I do have a feeling, given how old he's looking, he's going to die in this.
Stop it. Take it back right now.
But that
I
Dr.
said-
Fate was immortal.
No. Fate, the helmet, the persona of Fate himself is. His hosts are not.
Well, they
Wait,
made
so the host can die?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kent
So
Nelson.
when the
Yeah.
host dies, where does the helmet go?
Oh, it goes off to someone else. It goes to someone else. Now, how many
Taboo.
Kent Nelsons have there been? Different Kent Nelsons. There have been different Kent Nelsons just because they decide, let's make a new one. But is he the
Well, and
original
his wife took over for some time too.
Him and his wife both
Yeah.
were together. And that was the point where you had during the Wahaha Justice League, where you have that color of a female Dr. Fate.
I
Then
thought
they
that was
both
when
got
the-
killed.
I thought it was when the mom and the son were merged together.
Oh,
Or that-
possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. But yeah, then they got killed off haphazardly during 0 Hour, which led into Fate, which was too drastic of a change.
For you.
What did he say? I missed what he said.
Oh, sorry. Let's go.
Waiting for you.
Waiting for you.
You're saying like that the world is waiting for him or something.
Oh. I bet they're offering him a spot
Ezra
in the
Miller on the
JSA.
left is hideous.
Yeah.
How does this play out? What is this
Right,
point?
it's-
Is this supposed to be him in different points from time or different universes?
Yeah, the Ezra on
Oh,
the
yeah.
right looks just as bad.
I think it might be both.
She is pretty.
Oh,
See,
she?
terrible taste. Terrible taste.
This very handsome young lady.
Okay,
Yeah,
anyway.
this is good hair.
Are you ready? Dun, dun, dun.
Only in theaters, yeah. After everything that's been biting him in the ass with doing stuff on HBO Max.
Yeah. No more day and date. I don't know why that's still up.
Oh my
What
gosh.
was that?
Let me know.
Mute yourself.
Okay, Robert.
You okay?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, he's muting
Sorry
himself.
about that. I just drinking some
okay.
soda, and I accidentally somebody called me to take a breath and it started going down the wrong tube.
Oh.
Oh, I
Oh.
hate that. So now we get to. It looks amazing. Now we get to the fun part. We need to talk about Dark Crisis. We need to talk about Dark Crisis. Now,
I
If you
can
guys
already
don't
tell where
know-
Drew feel. I can already tell where Drew feel.
if you guys don't know, I'm sure you probably do in the chat, but the DC introduced the newest Crisis coming up. It is set by
Another
Joshua
one.
Williamson. We are going to get the Dark Army, which is consisting of Upside Down Man, Darkseid, Pariah. Help me out here.
Doomsday Clock.
Neron,
Ares,
and Neron,
Spectre,
Necron.
Deathstroke.
That's
Or
the other
is
one.
it Deathstroke? Given the stuff with Flashpoint Beyond,
Of course it is.
is it though? Given what
It is.
Flashpoint Beyond
I saw
Zero
the
Looking at the
teases us,
picture. We're just looking at the picture, so
Yeah.
right?
it might be misdirection. You never know, but
That's true. But that is where
Oh, we're
we have
not seeing the picture right now.
the death of. Well, I don't have anything up. The death of the Justice League, and we have the beginning of whatever is next. I don't know. From my understanding, a while back, I thought we were getting more of a continuity reset. But does anyone else feel like that's kind of not this?
Okay, I've actually gone back over Infinite Frontier and Dark Crisis and the end of Death Metal, and here's more what was made very clear. And Death Metal did make it very clear. All the other crises would make sure that most people would forget the bulk of what happened. Maybe except for the hero, but for the bulk of them, because of the crisis energy, people would forget. That's why when Wonder Woman was told, if you use the anti-crisis energy, people will remember. Everyone, the normal people and the heroes, and across the multiverse. So that's part of the reason. When we had the Omniverse created, they used anti-crisis energy, which meant for the first time after an event, everyone involved was aware. Now, did everyone accept it? Most people just choose to remain ignorant. Some people focused on too much. But this is technically, the Infinite Frontier onwards, the first time we ever had the post-event where everyone was aware of what happened, for good or for ill.
Okay. That doesn't explain anything I just said. No, I'm just kidding. But the issue here I want to know is, and I there's a lot to talk about with this, but are we getting a reboot? Even if it's a soft reboot, do you guys think we are getting?
No.
I don't think.
I do not think we're going to get a soft reboot. I think this is just going to be a big event that's going to probably be like, as Williamson himself has said, give so many of these legacy characters the time to shine. And hey, if it gives female Dr. Light more time to shine, given how we've been seeing her more pop up in a bunch of artwork, I am not going to complain whatsoever.
I'm going to say the opposite. I'm going to say yes. That it will be some sort of soft reboot.
I hope so. Like, I'm not being mean
nice.
here, but there's a lot of like continuity stuff that's kind of funky. I don't know.
The continuity is very funky right now. Nothing lines up. So
It's funky junky.
And it feels like it's time to do it. Go ahead, Rocky.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, we could easily get caught up in language in terms of defining what we mean by soft reboot or a revitalization or a whatever. Frankly, I mean, you could argue that there wasn't that much of a reboot coming out of the death metal. If you really want to get technical, we got a totality satellite consisting of bad guys and good guys being its members, and we haven't heard from the Justice League totality except for a little glitch at the beginning of Infinite Frontier series by Williamson. So I think that going into this series, I think it's going to be we're going to get old classic heroes. We're going to get the JSA on we're going to have a bookend. We're going to get the JSA on one end. We're going to get the legacy heroes on the other. And at the end, the classic heroes we all know and love are going to show up at the end of the day and win the day. We're going to get some character moments. What we have the best guy at DC right now, Williamson, writing it.
Yeah.
Whether or not he can nail the landing is we're going to have to wait and see. But frankly, I think he's the most passionate DC writer. He's channeling his inner Grant Morrison. God love him. He's channeling Jeff Johns. He's taken big steps. He's putting himself out there. And look, let's face it, if you don't like where this is headed, I mean, you either love Crisis or you hate Crisis. There's very few people in between. I mean, so I love it. I'm classic DC. I've been reading so long. I'm addicted. I'm in this for the long haul. I'm excited for it. I love, all these bad guys, man. Oh my God. This is
Upside Down Man shocked me. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
So awesome. I'm so excited for this. And, and I love that channeling the inner Grant Morrison and even these new legacy characters. There are so many characters here that even if you're not in favor of, like, if you're not a fan of the legacy, the newer DC heroes, there's so many more characters at play here. I don't think that anyone is going to drown anyone else out. I think Williamson is very much aware of the comic book landscape, and maybe I'm going to be wrong. We're going to see, but I'm really hopeful for this, and I think he wants to nail this landing. And there's so much pressure on him right now. So much pressure on him. I feel bad for him. I really do. But I'm really hoping that he's going to nail this.
I'll just say this: it's better than Bendis writing a Crisis event.
I actually
say
think
what you will. Say what you will, but Bendis would make this like 3 issues of stuff happening. The rest is just introspective, talky.
Nothing but talking. Yes.
And then the last issue is then, here's setting up the next event.
No, it would end with Naomi.
Continuity.
Yeah, Naomi would win the day. Naomi would show up. And
Isn't she now Powerhouse? Isn't she Powerhouse now?
I think so.
Is that what it is?
Now,
That's
here's the
like her
thing, though.
name.
I have a weird. Can I give my theory about Slade? I think the Slade's been falling from Destro, all throughout Destro Inc. I think that's from another Earth. He's starting to really not act like Slade at all the moment they got into Limbo. I think the Slade that's going to be involved here and everything is from another Earth that's already been making a deal with the Great Darkness, and he's just working behind the scenes to get all the villains in the setup. Much like how... What?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think it's we find out he's dying. I think he just wants to go out in a blaze of glory. I think he's saying, "I'm done. I'm done playing games. This is me."
That's true too. That's true too. But I have a feeling that the Great Darkness either got to him or something. Because
I think that Drew and Robert, you make really good points, because I think that the two wild cards in this story, absolutely, Slade is one of them. If he's going, he could be the one that betrays the team of the Great Darkness. And also the other wild card here that is not in the picture, but maybe he is, and I just don't see him, is Superboy Prime. Remember?
No, he's not been brought up at all. He was said to be one of the fingers, but I think he was taken off the board after Death Metal. And I don't think anyone wants to touch him after they gave him a happy ending.
Yeah, he's not taken off the board. He's still, I think he's still in play. There is no way Superboy Prime is not going to be showing up. There's no way.
They just gave him a great happy ending in Secret Origins, and I think people want to leave him to rest.
I love Superboy Prime, though.
Well,
I think he's going to show up.
When Jeff writes him, he's great. And
the way Snyder wrote him, you actually felt bad for the guy. When Jeff writes him, he's an ass.
I like the asshole Superboy Prime, though.
Yeah, but now when he's taking pot shots at the fans.
Well, it's funny. Like, unless you live in your basement, it's okay. Nobody should be offended. You know what I mean? Okay, sorry. Sorry to anyone I just offended.
I actually wanted to say, I saw a comment below. Terry Young Williamson has stated that the event is about big cosmic battles and legacy, but not reboots and retcons.
Which is what Death Metal was more about.
Well, yeah, but Death Metal went right into Future State and then into Infinite Frontier, and we've had these... We had Infinite Frontier, and then we had Justice League Incarnate, and then we're getting... Now, is next... So we're at, 72 on Justice League? So we've got a couple issues.
Two more. That's actually in the current timeline, continuity.
Well, is this Justice League 75? Is this alongside the Free Comic Book Day? Is it jumping it off? Is it starting it?
Yes. It looks like Death of the Justice League. That probably explains why it's a completely different league from what Bendis has done. And yeah, we're just going to jump ahead a little bit, and then by the time this Dark Crisis ends, then the present comic line's going to catch up. Probably going to do a bunch of new number ones.
You know what? I was glad to see Dan Jurgens is involved. I felt so bad for him after I had him on the show, and he was talking about all the work he put into Generations, and it got thrown away. Like, that poor guy put his whole, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of his hours every single night to go, you know what? Yeah. That's a kill order. We'll pay you for your work, but you can stop
Jason
now.
and I interviewed Andy Schmidt, who was the writer on The Crime Syndicate, and he said that he collaborated a lot with. He was participating in the Generations, and they had all kinds of story elements that they gutted and took out, and he was so you could tell. He said he told Jason and I that at some point, if we ever meet him at a con, we'll go out for drinks, and he'll give us the truth of what's on behind the scenes. But, he said, there was all kinds of, because that was just during the midst of all that chaos with the 5G being canceled, and then the corporate acquisition, AT&T acquiring Warner Brothers, and all that jazz, and it was
and the deal being bumped out.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just a kind of a little bit of a mess, but all things considered, I mean, it actually didn't. I actually didn't think it turned out all that bad, but mind you, I'm not a big fan of the linear verse, so.
I say though, Jeremy Adams, you have him on Flashpoint Zero and this Road to the Dark Crisis. That doesn't boost his career. I don't know what will.
He's great. I have a video coming up that I did. I did stuff about the numbers earlier this week, and I have one coming up about the piracy numbers.
Oof.
Action.
I've heard about that. I saw that. Yeah.
Are so much more pirated than a lot of the other DC titles because people are liking the runs. They're just not paying for it. I was shocked when because those are two books that I absolutely look forward to every single time, right? Those two books are great. Like, there was more times that Flash was pirated than it was bought. And that makes me sad because I don't want to see Jeremy Adams lose his job. He's very
and
talented.
I'm already reading next week's DC books. I just finished The Flash, and it's a shame hearing that.
When
He's
this
so
is a big
talented.
problem that has always happened. Like before I was into comics, it's for manga and webtoons, you're actually like encouraged to pirate from your peers because they automatically just give you all the websites and they don't say it's pirated. They'll just say, well, here's how you can get it, and I just learned that they lost around what was it, I don't remember if it was $9 million or $9 billion
Damn!
money just from pirated
Wow.
manga.
That's a lot of
so it's a lot. I mean, they'll be fine, obviously, since
Mhm.
France is like their number one bestseller, more than the West could ever. But it's still a lot. They like it,
Yeah.
they're just not buying.
And where do you think a lot of these people who are complaining about these books are getting from? They're not buying it; they're just pirating it.
Yeah, and that's a shame because those are two of the best books at DC. Like, there's some really great books, and
Swamp Thing. You can't forget Swamp Thing.
Well, at least I did well enough to extend it.
Yeah, Swamp Thing's phenomenal, but like this Warworld saga is something completely different, and the art is so pretty. And
Yes.
it's a shame. It's
Now,
so good.
I blame
Yeah.
Bendis. I blame Bendis for the increase of Superman pirating.
Nobody was
That's
even
fair.
pirating
That's-
it then. Are
that's
you
fair.
kidding?
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
And there was a $1 price increase once Philip Kennedy Johnson came on.
No, that was already there, I think.
Mm-mm.
No, you're right. No,
Trust
you're right.
me,
No,
I
you're
did
right.
the
You're right.
research.
You're right. You're right.
Trust me, I did the research for my video, but it's a shame. It really is. But a lot of people aren't willing to spend $4.99
Yeah, a lot
right
of people
after
probably
Bendis.
a lot of people got burned by Bendis, and they don't want to come
Yeah.
back and spend money if they feel like they're going to get burned again.
And they may pick up the trade or something, but let's
hopefully.
be real. I'm not a trade waiter just because I want to know what's going on. Like,
Yeah,
I am.
If I can be perfectly honest, I both pirate just so I can read ahead of time, but then I still buy it. I only pirate the books that I already have in my poll bin. It's just that I don't want to wait, any longer and then read it on Tuesday, so then I can buy it then on Wednesday.
well, that's a little different. You're just looking at the scans. That's a little different. So I
Yeah.
did see Tava ask earlier that about how will this affect the main titles, and from my understanding, it's not. How is that
Yeah.
going to be just
I-
as
like I
impactful
said,
as the death of Superman, though?
like I said, this continuity doesn't make any. There is no continuity. It's just
No.
that's what.
It's like Doomsday Clock and Death Metal. It's going to jump ahead, and then when the event ends, then everything catches up. And I think when they're saying it's supposed to be so impactful, it's because this leads right into Dark Crisis.
I mean, yeah, I guess I get that, but I also feel like in a way it's a way to get out of having to make it impact the whole line. Like, I understand that it's, capitalism at its finest, but it also doesn't feel near as impactful. Now, I'm looking forward to it a lot. Like, I absolutely am. I don't know as far as, like, what is it? We get a free comic book day one. We get a 0 issue, or is that the free one?
A road to. The 0 issue is the free comic book day. Then we get the road to.
Well, who do you guys think, and I know this is a question on a lot of people's mind, who's going to step in? Rocky, who do you think?
Who's gonna what?
Who's going to step in when the Justice League is gone?
Oh, there's well, I mean, at the risk of sounding like a smartass, I think they're all on the poster. But
Yeah.
I mean, really, I do think it's going. Well, I think it's going to be the future State Justice League. The mainstream.
Do
I think
you?
it's going to be I don't know, but I'm going to guess that we're going to get a combination of the JSA and John Kent, Yara Flor, and Jace Fox, and some variation thereon. And then we're going to get a whole slew of other multitude of characters, and that would be my guess. Honestly, there's so many players that Williamson has played with, not to mention the other I say again, the 3 wild cards: Superboy Prime, throw in Flashpoint Batman, and Deathstroke. And then, of course, you got this is. It's so important that this nails that this is 7 issues long, right? And I think that
Eh,
this is such the comic book fans are so right now divided on the whole classic versus legacy versus
Right.
all that jazz. And I think that this is an opportunity. There's no reason why all these characters can't shine. That's why I'm saying there's so much pressure on Williamson, but I think he's done a surprisingly good job of making me actually care about Justice League Incarnate, which is a team that isn't around all that much. We saw them last in Multiversity, but that's been a while. He's having a lot of fun here, and I don't know. Maybe I just have a Williamson bias because I wasn't a fan of his Flash run, but boy, the guy's won me over. Deathstroke, Robin, he's doing a good job here, and he knows his DC universe. I thought it was inspired how he introduced and had the whole Alan Moore Swamp thing, how he introduced that element to the Great Darkness mythology. I thought it was very inspired how he actually, I thought he simplified it as well as anybody could. All the three crises or more, depending on your point of view. But anyways, I remain optimistic, but I hope I'm not, my expectations aren't shattered.
There's just one problem I have with the Great Darkness stuff. It's pretty much what they would describe about Necron during Blackest Night. You had the dark, and then it was upset that the light invaded. How is this any different?
It's the Great Darkness. It's great.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's better because it's great.
Yeah, but I think Necron's part of the Great Darkness. I think.
Yeah, there's some connection there. I don't necessarily think that I believe that the future state people are gonna like take over. I hope Yara does at least because they did her dirty.
We know Aquaman.
But in a lot of those pictures, we see Damien and Dick also front and center. We see Hal there. We know that.
Oh, Dick Grayson. Never mind.
And we see and one of the announcements they talked about Jessica Cruz. So I'm wondering if we're not going to get more of an amalgamation. He keeps saying this is about legacy. I could be wrong, but Jace is. I guess that doesn't matter. I was going to say Jace is headed to New York. That doesn't matter because it's headed. It's a little bit ahead of time. What do you think, Bianca?
What was the question?
Who do you think is going to take over?
I have no idea who's going to take over, but who I want to take over would be like somebody who's older but not as old, something like Nightwing. And then let's mix it up, let's have a Nightwing and then have a Jessica Cruz Green Lantern as part of the main 3, and then a Blue Beetle.
Which one?
The only one that matters, Jaime.
Whoa.
That is a hot take, Miss Bianca.
Whoa.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's going to be like a Justice League International, I think, where they're going to pick and choose a bit of Justice League Unlimited, from the old cartoon, where you're going to have like the main members and then you're going to have a bunch of the others. That's why we see some of them on the poster. I keep bringing her up, the female Dr. Light. Seeing her, and I've seen her, we see her there, we see her in the Dan Jurgens funeral cover. She's been, she's obviously going to have some importance. Otherwise, why would they keep bringing her up?
I love that they are showing, I said this in my video, but I wish they would, and it does feel risky. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of people already saying it's
JLQ.
Yeah, JLQ, or it is like choking characters. It's a big risk. It is. But I also kind of wish they would risk it more and bring back like Power Girl or some of the characters we really haven't seen in a very long time, or go like the way of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and bring in like Atrocitus to have to build, go against the Great Darkness. Like,
where have he been?
I don't know. I actually have no idea.
He has not been around since Vendetti's run.
Yeah.
Poor Atrocitus. We need some Dexter in our life.
I just realized that the team I picked are usually all non-white, and I didn't mean to do that.
Hey, Man of Action. Everyone pointed out the Man of Action. There's one problem with everyone keeps saying to the JLA future state. Andy, she's too young.
She's way too young. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it can't be that. Also, when people say bring in Power Girl, again, which one? You have Karen, but you also have the, what was her name?
You can't say her name. That means it doesn't matter.
the young black girl.
I forgot all about her.
Yeah, Priest took her off the board, but she's still out there.
Wow.
Dexter isn't cute? Huh? What? How is
Whoa.
Dexter not cute? Oh my goodness.
What?
He's
Maybe
That's
trash.
one of the
blood
things
coming
I
out
would.
of his
That's one of the things that will always get Shane Davis when he wrote Dexter's origin. Oh boy, that was the cutest little cat.
He didn't write it, he drew it.
No, he drew it. I said his artwork.
Oh, I thought you said wrote. What do you think, Drew? Who do you think's coming in?
Oh, I think it's personally what I think. I think it's going to be the young one stepping up to take charge. But I really want to see the JSA come back. I want to see them so badly come back. I would just love if Josh Williamson throws us for a curveball and says, "Boom!" It's all the old timers coming in. It's like, hey, we're taking control now. We're like not taking control. Like we're going to handle the situation. Don't worry, kids, or something.
Never.
I would love to see that. Just classic Jay Garrick, the Hour Man, Wesley
yeah.
Dawes, Wildcat. I would love to see all these guys come back. Just solve this, save the day. And it leads into Jeff Johns' JSA series later this summer, which may or may not happen. We'll see what happens.
Let's hope it happens because I've been looking forward to it since what was that?
The Stargirl. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, the Stargirl special. More JSA to come. I'm waiting.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sitting here waiting. And
Yeah, he's got 4 books coming out working on this year. If he does JSA or Stargirl, he has Redcoat, Junkyard Joe, and Flashpoint Beyond.
Yeah, busy guy.
Makes you wondering what's going on with him in Hollywood. Do you think he's taking a break? Do you think he did this during a quiet time?
Yeah, I think he's taking a break from the movies. I think the cyborg stuff kind of. I wouldn't say put a kibosh on his Hollywood career, but kind of put the brakes on it for a minute.
For a minute, yeah. Probably waiting for it to die down.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll welcome him back in comics any day.
Right, exactly.
His Tiger stuff is so good.
But he's not going to be running the show, though. Let's be honest. He's going to be there to help out. He's visiting, but he's not staying.
That's a shame. It really should be him taking charge. He really should be.
But he wanted Hollywood. He wanted to go to Hollywood, but not like the others who want to go there and just make their own career. No, he wants to bring comics to Hollywood, which is why I always say he's different from everyone else who use comics as a way to get to Hollywood.
Well, I think second best is Williamson.
Right now,
I
and
have
Adams.
faith in him.
Yeah, and Jeremy Adams. Jeremy Adams is a close third, I would say, and
they're much better than a lot of the guys at Marvel, even.
Oh, they're light years ahead of them, I would say. Yes.
I think Jed McKay at Marvel is pretty good.
He's hit or miss. He's had some misses. He's had some hits. Moon Knight has been a hit, and I think with the Timeless one he did with Kang, that one shot was near flawless to me. But he's getting better. I'll say he's getting better.
Wait, who's reading Sabretooth?
Oh, I am. I love it.
I read the first issue. It was kind of fun.
Is that also by Jed McKay?
No, there's someone.
No, it's by somebody else, right?
It's like Peter. I forget what the guy's name is.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I think a good fourth, even though he doesn't do anything on the mainline DC universe, is Sean Gordon Murphy.
Yeah, but he's White Knight.
Yeah, that's the thing. I said he's not in the main universe, but
it'd be fun to have him in this in the sandbox. It'd be nice.
He probably would need another. He would need another writer to.
I don't know. I like Sean Gordon Murphy where he's at. I like him having his own little universe and being able to, do with what we're getting the with the Beyond stuff coming up.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be really good. His White Knight stuff was great, but I think honestly, with what we've seen so far, I know a lot of people aren't looking forward to it. I am. I think Williamson can pull it off. I think he's pulling from a lot of continuity.
Oh yeah, he proved it during his Flash run.
Well, no, not only that, but he's pulling from all of the crises. But my one question here, and I'm still confused about, when it comes to Perpetua, wasn't it sort of the very similar thing than what we got in Justice League Incarnate 5? She was the one kind of retconned everything, and now we're retconning that recent retcon?
I think it's not as messy as you think. I think it's more or less that the Great Darkness is what turned her away from the Source, her bosses. I think that's what we're going to find out. I think we're going to find out they corrupted it, and a lot of her machinations have been their machination. She's been their greatest agent.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What do you think, Rocky? Do you think they're going to bring Perpetua in?
No, I think that well,
I didn't think to bring her in. I'm just saying that.
Perpetua was killed by the Batman Who Laughs, or when he was the
Right.
Darkest Knight. She was dead, so she's not coming back. I don't see she coming back. Perpetua was not was basically just was basically sort of an agent of the cosmic gods who gives her who created her own multiverse and who created her own universe and then ultimately corrupted it. And the cosmic gods, Wonder Woman at the end of Death Metal, decided her Wonder Woman sacrifice. She decided to sacrifice all of us, and the cosmic gods thought she was so great, sacrificing all of us just to save them, rather than risk eternity with the universe ruled by the Batman Who Laughs. We decided, we'll just die. Well, the cosmic gods rewarded us by pushing our universe forward, but and allowing Wonder Woman to join the Quintessence. She quit the Quintessence and came back to Earth because she was warned by the cosmic gods of a lurking threat. Now, we assume that the lurking threat was Darkseid. As it turned out, the lurking threat was the Great Darkness, and that the same Great Darkness that was part of Grant Morrison's Multiversity with the Empty Hand, and in Multiversity it referenced a second multiverse, and in the advertisements for Dark Crisis, Pariah is actually the original multiverse as it existed pre-original Crisis. That's known as Multiverse 2. And Pariah wants to bring back that original multiverse because that's his multiverse. And so that's how everything's sort of tied in. And that's why he's trying to control and utilize the Great Darkness. And in doing so, he's controlling somehow Darkseid, Necron, Eclipso, Empty Hand, Gentry, Doomsday, Ares, Deathstroke, Spectre, Upside Down Man, and Neuron. I think that's what's going on here. And so that's a lot of powerful forces. So I'm assuming that I don't know how the hell we beat all those guys. That's who kills the Justice League, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
The Justice League cannot defeat that level of darkness. Forget it. I mean, no wonder they get killed. But then how the hell does the rest of the heroes step up and fight it? Like, I'm excited about this. I got like my little cool boy fanboy. I mean, I'm just like, this is like, I just jump up and down. I think this is so awesome, so and I might be getting some of these plot points a little bit misguided or wrong, but I'm just loving it. I'm just excited about where this might lead.
Yeah, I want to see some good guys versus bad guys. I want to see some cool fights. Not everyone sitting down saying, we should do something. Should we do something? We should do something.
Referencing Countdown to Final Crisis.
I love how he's pulling from so much, though. Like, he pulls from the different crises, pulls from the witching hour. Like, the idea that he is able to go back and like, I understand he probably, how like when people start a show, they get like their Bible, right? It's got everything in it. I understand he's probably got that. But Joshua Williamson is a fan too, right? He's not just a creator. So there's a lot of passion behind what he writes. And it finally, like, I like death metal. I liked metal. But this feels bigger. This feels like Perpetua, okay, she had some potential. The Darkest Night, I think everybody was sick of the Batman Who Laughs and kind of were like, okay, so yeah, We're actually seeing some consequences as to what happens. And I'm all for it. I'm all for a few new characters stepping up. We've had the same characters for a long time, and you can still actually read them in their own titles. But I'm all for spotlighting, so to speak, these new ideas and these new characters and how they're going to handle it as compared to, like, Yara's going to handle something different than how Wonder Woman would. She flies off at the handle. She doesn't really know how to control her anger or her powers yet, for that matter. And come on, she's got Jerry. Like, it's the cutest thing ever. It's going to be handled differently. And I'm glad to see that somebody is taking that risk. Even if they fail, they can at least say they tried. You know what I mean? Instead of just going to the same status quo, the circular storytelling, we're getting consequences for once. Besides, like, since maybe, I don't even know. Since
I find this is written better. I don't know about you guys, but between Infinite Frontier going into Justice League Incarnate, I just find it more enjoyable, easier to follow than I did Death Metal.
And absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's an actual build up to it.
Well, I just found it easier to read. It has a better flow. It's not so crazy, despite even have arguably as many players. I just find it reads better, and I enjoy it more. And I'd actually be a quick question to Drew. I know you're a comic shop owner. I'm wondering, are the sales any good for Infinite Frontier and Justice League Incarnate, or is nobody buying it? What?
No one's buying it.
Oh,
Yeah, no. The only if you watch our live sales on Facebook, the only titles people are buying, they're buying Batman, Detective. That's about it. Even Superman. Yeah, we'll preach Superman 78 till the day we die. No one's buying it. Action, no one's buying it. It's just it's all Batman.
I guess it's opposite from my local comic shop.
Yeah, when I looked at the sales numbers, when I did the sales numbers last week, I think Justice League Incarnate was in November, I think in the mid 40s, and then it slipped to I think the 60s. So I mean, it doesn't sound like it's awful, but it's not excelling because
there's been no focus on it. No one's really been saying like you need to read this. It's just been like an outlier series.
I think that's the downside with it being its own separate thing. You know, that's the one of the things. Funny thing, people say they don't want things to interrupt their events, so don't tie it into the main books. But at the same time, you don't get anyone to get attention to go check out the main lines. It's like that double-edged sword that people think, oh, we don't want any events. They kill the momentum of the main book. But when you don't do it, no one's going to pay attention to something that's going to be important down the line.
I cannot imagine that Justice League 75 will not sell like hotcakes. It absolutely will.
Oh, it will.
Yeah, there will be store variants and all that stuff. I know, but I will say this is kind of a bad analogy, but it's the only thing I can compare the current Justice League Incarnate to. It's like reading Countdown to Final Crisis. To me, it kind of feels like that, or it's like.
You mean padding the comic?
Yes. A little bit, yeah. When you've got Calvin and Dr. Universe, whatever her name is, and
Dr. Multiverse, get it right, Drew. God.
Sure. And they're in the real world making a comic. I'm like, oh my god,
I love that stuff.
I actually like that because we've always had Earth Prime be a part of things.
Yeah, like when long ago that started with Wally, going back, and I like that.
What Prime from Earth Prime?
Yeah. I know.
Well, I can understand though that there's a point to be made though that I mean, as a longtime DC reader, I like that, but I can totally see newer readers being turned off from that and being confused and being, you know what I mean, and in this day and age where there's so many fantastic comic books out there in the independent market and what have you, it's really hard to if you're going to have something that. It's another event, and like again, I feel like a dying breed. I've been reading for 4 decades. I'm like an old guy. It's like trying to explain to somebody, try to explain to somebody the concept of a DC crisis and try to do it in under 2 paragraphs. I mean, good luck. I mean,
here's a question I got to ask everyone. I want to ask everyone this: do anyone think this crisis would have happened if 5G and everything didn't fall by the wayside? Because this feels more like this was done as a way like. They had a plan out of death metal, one plan, but then afterwards, now Snyder wasn't going to stay around forever, but he was able to extend death metal. We know that. But then afterwards, like, what do we do next? Since 5G fell by the wayside, Future State became what it was. It feels like William says, well, I have an idea, and that's why, like, we really weren't going to get an event for a while, but due to the circumstances of the deal being firing and all the other stuff that happened, it became a necessity. Does anyone here agree with that?
I have no idea.
Go ahead, Drew.
I was just gonna say, honestly, this event with the characters, to me, it looks like they're clearly going to prop up. It really feels more like an affirmation of 5G than anything else. So I really
not the exact same way, right?
Yeah. So it feels like this is kind of like an offshoot of 5G.
I think a way to circumvent it while still using similar ideas and make it more acceptable. Use the continuity to make it a love letter to comic book fans. Use those kind of things to draw people in and really focus on legacy and being able to show the fans that sometimes there are consequences and sometimes those back characters need the front. And I think it's still like it's clear to say we're not getting 5G. But we're getting those characters front and center. Now, I still I think it's going to be Damien or Dick to take over. I don't think Jace is going to take over. Maybe that's my hopes because I'm not a huge fan. Maybe that's my
I
bias
would
there.
not be surprised if they go for the gold and put Jace, front and center. I would not be surprised at all if they just go full board, 5G, put him front and center. I would not be surprised.
Yeah. The irony is that even though in theory maybe this isn't 5G, but what's the difference between what 5G was going to be in this? 5G was simply different timelines where we had legacy characters but very distinguished timelines. Now we've got them all crammed in the same timeline, and everyone's aged up. I mean, they've aged down Stephanie Brown, Cassandra Cain to the little teeny pre-boppers, and they've aged up content. They've technically aged up Wonder Girl. Yara seems to have gotten older. Jackson Hyde seemed to have gotten a little older. I mean, it's chaos a little bit. So it's the continuity, as we know, it's wonky to begin with. And, it's just like they're throwing a bunch of crap at a wall. And as long as the story, you can really tell they're embracing the DC Omniverse. Everything matters.
Yeah.
And then,
Yes.
then what? Maybe nothing matters. But it's, they're really focusing on the individual stories. But you look coming out of Future State, it's clear to me that when AT&T took over, they said, and they may have scrapped 5G. But really, when you think about it, a lot of the storylines, were just rehashed 5G rumors that we heard about. And then they became storylines. So really, this is almost like a cloned version of 5G with a little different bit of sprinkles on it. And instead of a cherry, we got a raspberry on top.
Yeah.
So I actually have a question because this is a big thing that I see in my comment section as far as when I discuss these ideas. Starting with Rocky, because I think you have a level head. You think there's an agenda at play here?
Ow.
You think it's to make... I know all of you do, but I mean, like, Rocky helped me out when I needed him. When it came to the stuff with Shade and all that fun stuff. So I got to go to Rocky first. Do you think there's a agenda at play here for diversity and inclusion?
Well, yes, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
Right.
However, let's be blunt. It's all in the execution. I don't think anybody would think that diversity or whether you call it an agenda, I don't think any of that's a bad thing. The question is, are these stories going to be any good? This is why I said Joshua Williamson has his work cut out for him. Because I mean, there's no question that when what's disappointing about this is I do think it does bother me that I'm so excited. My favorite stories are the Justice League Incarnate and the big. I like this stuff. I love the classic heroes, and I don't mind new heroes. But it really bothers me if the number one DC title that sold was the 5th issue of Superman, Son of Kal-El, for reasons which are more for shock value tactics. And so it's one of those things where. Do I think DC? I think DC there's nothing wrong with an agenda. Of course, they want to attract a new crowd. They want to be considered. They want to, be open, diverse, and everything else. But you can't forget your core audience. But I'm gonna suggest to you, if you look at that poster for Dark Crisis, I'm gonna suggest to you that they're trying to suck and blow at the same time, DC. And what I'm saying is they're trying to capture the diversity, the classic heroes in the past, because we got the JSA on there. We got Marv Wolfman's and Perez's all new Teen Titans. We got Jeff Johns' Teen Titans. We got the classic JSA. We got the new legacy heroes. We got the Outsiders. We got the classic versions of Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, and Hal Jordan along with John Stewart. They're trying to capture all that in one big bundle. And they're trying to capture the best of both worlds, because DC would have to be blind not to know that they've pissed a lot of people off with the whole, do they have an agenda or don't they have an agenda? And we all know what I'm talking about, because I know why you asked the question. But, but you got to be careful. You got to be careful in this cultural climate, whether you like it or not. A sizable portion of the people who collect comics are older guys like me. Okay. And we're probably more conservative than not. So you don't want to alienate us. But at the same time, you got a new audience that you want to attract. So they're weaving a fine needle here. But hey, that's the cross that they bear.
What about you, Drew? What do you think?
I think it would be smart to, like, I don't know if he's going to do it or not. If you really want to get the old school readers like us in, like Rocky and I in, it's like, do like do different like strike teams for these characters, like the old with the new, merge them, work them together. So you got the new characters working with the older characters, new characters learning from the older characters. Gives us a chance to really appreciate the younger ones while appreciating the older ones as well. Maybe you can get us on board with that. Then again, that's just me. But we'll see what happens. You know, it is. I think in a way, it is a way to push their newer characters, and it just so happens that yes, they are more diverse. But we'll see what happens. I really want to give Josh Williamson. You know, I hope he pulls this off. I really do, and I hope he can get us to really appreciate these newer characters, because a lot of them I really don't. A lot of them I just don't like because they have not been written well. But we'll see what happens.
I would say for me, as far as the future state characters, the one I care for least is Jace. I think all of the other characters bring something unique and fresh to the table. Yara is a Spitfire, right? She is the exact opposite of Diana, and that's why I love her. She's something different. We see John, he handles things very differently than his father. Instead of going and attacking the kaiju or whatever that thing was in the
The
ocean.
thing that was destroying the dock and threatening the citizens in Metropolis that he was lecturing not to be afraid of. Yeah.
It was in the middle of the ocean. It wasn't hurting anybody.
Right.
It was, well, regardless, he handles it differently than his father would. Joe Mullion, I like her. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I love the art in Far Sector. It was so good. It drew me into that story. And another thing I appreciate about Jackson Hyde is that story so far has been front and center action. There was a little bit in the beginning about him flirting with a guy.
Oh, that first issue was bad. That first half of that issue in the diner, I'm like, what am I reading here? It just.
Hey, Brandon Thomas is one of the better writers, though, as well. Maybe not the best writer, but he's definitely one of the better writers they have in their staple.
And I prefer that title to Chuck Brown's Black Manta.
Oh, Black Manta is unreadable. Yeah.
I'm hoping Thompson does more of the writing on Aquaman. I'm hoping he's doing the bulk of the writing on Aquaman.
But it leaves the odd one out, right? Jace.
Yeah, and you know, I brought this up before. We know why Bruce Wayne is Batman. We know exactly why. Why is Jace Batman?
Because they need a black person.
Bingo.
No, I'm saying that's what Jace believes. That's not a case of the creator. That is what Jace believes. He believes we need it, and apparently Lucius agrees with him. Oh God, that issue before he left for New York.
Such a different character.
And at least they're acknowledging the possibility that Joker War still has affected him, which I appreciate. But I have to wonder if editorials telling him, set up a back door we could use. Please set up a back door, because it feels like he hates the Foxes. It feels like he hates all the Foxes except for Jace. And the fact that he wants to make which is the one that's going to possibly be his Robin, Tiffany.
Tiffany, yeah. Tamara's the one that was in the hospital.
Yeah, I feel like they want to do that. It's like, oh, he's going to totally rework Tiffany, even though they totally swapped the characters' ages. Because I remember Tiffany during Red Robin. I loved her there. Can't stand her now.
Yeah, Tiffany was. It feels like they've really changed a lot of those characters to the point where I don't necessarily feel the same as I did for Lucius, right? I don't necessarily.
He's a bad guy now. Lucius is a bad guy. And honestly, if Josh Williamson were smart, he would write in a line where Lucius Fox gets arrested for embezzling funds from the Wayne Foundation, taken away from Bruce.
Bruce allowed it, though. I think his lawyers would argue Bruce allowed it, which would mean he can't then.
But even so, they could do something that the toxin was wearing on him, right? You wouldn't even have to go that far. You could go, my instance with Punchline and Joker. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But it feels like a completely different character. And it feels like Jace is the only one I'm truly not.
He hasn't done anything to really distinguish himself different from any of the other Batman or Robins. It's just, he's just other Bat guy.
Although I will say, just building on what you're saying, Drew, the first issue of I Am Batman I thought was the best portrayal of Jace Fox yet. In New York City, I think maybe that's a better way to distinguish him. And the saving grace of all this stuff potentially is that all these characters are just one good story, one well-written story arc away from redeeming themselves. Because
Yeah.
I will say this, and I really hate to put this, but what's so frustrating about this is, I hate trying to defend these diverse characters when they're written terribly. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
exactly.
you know what I mean? Like I want Yar4 to be good, but god damn it, that Wonder Girl I thought was almost. I know, and I know you love it, Nerdad. I
love
respect
it.
your point of view, but I thought it really was a disjointed mess, and I think Yar4 deserved better. And the same, I get frustrated with these writings, and especially Chuck Brown. Black Manta was an awesome character, but that was largely unreadable, and the art was terrible.
Yes.
And when these are people and heroes of color, and you want to elevate them, and they're not written well, it really harms a very noble agenda. Call it what you will.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating because and then you can't blame somebody for not liking a bad story and then turn around and say, well, they just happen to be, a hero of color. Well, no, sometimes a story is just badly written. It's badly written. I'm sorry.
Agreed. Let me look at Jeffrey Thorne with Joe and Teen Lantern. I think he at least salvaged Joe. I think he's kind of dropped Teen Lantern a little bit. She's a lot better than Bendis wrote her, but she's still got a long way to go. But I do think he salvaged Joe.
And I'll say with those ones, I don't mind Joe. I like Joe. She's not bad. She's different. She's got a different style. I like that. And I think Jeffrey made me like Teen Lantern because I didn't like Teen Lantern before at all. And I think he salvaged a lot of that. I think he's done a lot of good. But when you see those solicitations and who's helping with the crisis, you don't see his name on it, right?
Mm-hmm. He's going to Milestone.
He's moving to Milestone?
He's doing the one of their new upcoming series, the
Blood Syndicate, maybe?
Yeah, Blood Syndicate, yeah.
Well, that's cool because I like Blood Syndicate, but and I like Jeffrey Thorne's work. But
we're hearing an echo.
It might be me. I don't think so.
Or is that a bark?
I'm not barking. I promise. I don't know. That's weird. Can anyone else hearing Tristan echo? Maybe. Hold on. Let me take me away and add me in. Am I echoing?
I just see. Try again.
Am I echoing?
Yeah, I think it's on you because I heard my voice echo for a second.
That's very weird.
Just to answer Tavia's question right there, why aren't the Milestones part of Dark Crisis? They're not. It's not in the DC universe.
Oh, wait, what?
Tavia's question.
What was the question?
Why aren't the Milestone characters a part of Dark Crisis? Not the same universe.
Okay, hopefully that helped. I don't know if it did or not. Nah, she's in a tunnel. Okay. Give me 1 second. Go ahead and talk about it, guys. I'll be right back.
Well, what do you guys think about that possibility with Milestone? I mean, could they pop up, or do you think the way things are probably contracted, they are to stay separate?
I think they're staying separate.
Yeah,
they would have mentioned. They would have pushed. They would have mentioned it. By now we're bringing in Milestone, but no, they.
Which do you prefer, Milestone? Do you prefer them being part of the DC universe or staying separate?
Well, my preference is that they stay separate. I actually my favorite character is Icon and Rocket. I love it's first of all, it's a very different universe. In the universe of Icon and Rocket, Superman Kal-El was killed when he was an infant, and it's an alternative history, which and race is absolutely the history of fact and Civil War. All that is a core part of that Milestone universe. And so and obviously if you're into that, you're into that. If you're not, well, stay away from it. If you don't want comics, don't read Milestone. So you know what you're getting into with Milestone. So it's for that core audience as well. And so I think there's something there for that audience. And I personally, I'm a history. I love the alternative take it has on the Civil War, because it has at one point I think it was Icon actually decapitated Jefferson Davis during the Civil War before he was taken out, and it really pushes the envelope. And but I think I have fun with it, but I kind of like. I don't think it's selling. Drew, I'm sure you can confirm this. It probably is not selling well, or how's it selling in your place?
No, we order I think 2 copies at the most.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And Sorry, I'm eating dinner. Just got here. I'm eating a French fry. But Icon and Rocket to me is the best current Milestone book right now, and
Yes.
and it was that, and honestly, all the original ones were good. Even Junkyard Iron Man was good. Hardware, but all the others are just. I mean, I just don't like these. I just don't like these takes on the Milestone characters, except for Icon and Rocket, because they're the same as they used to be.
It's funny because it's Reginald Hudlin who completely butchered what Priest set up with Black Panther.
Speaking of Milestone, didn't you get your compendium today? Did you mention that while I was gone,
No.
Bianca?
No, I didn't have a chance to. My mic was acting up.
Hey, we're in the same boat.
Yay. But I
think I'm
did just
echoing
hear
now,
the
though.
announcement for New Blood Syndicate Season 1.
And Zombie.
And Zombie.
That should be cool.
And yeah, you're not echoing now, Tristan.
Okay, good. We're good now. I don't. So what were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about Milestone. Totally got off subject. Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
But yeah, I think I wanted to say there's no bad characters necessarily, right? I don't think there's a creation necessarily that we've talked about that's bad.
It all comes down to the creator. It all comes down to the writer.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And they're not putting their best talent forward on some of these books, like we were talking about with Black Manta, because why? Like, are you giving this kind of, I guess for lack of a better term, fresh meat a chance to try? But if it's not,
not just that, but the fresh meat, as you would put it, a lot of them don't really have anything interesting to say, and if they do have something to say, it doesn't correlate with that character.
You know what I'm curious about? We saw on that, what was it, with all the different names, right? With the announcement, Stephanie Phillips' name was on there. She's been on Harley for well over a year now. What part of Harley? Maybe because she has a little experience with Wonder Woman, but not very much.
Well, she did also work on this.
She did one story, right?
Two stories. She co-wrote it. She, Dan Waters, and Brandon Thomas each co-wrote 2 stories during this.
Well, I'm curious to see what role she plays, because I've loved her Harley. I know a lot of people necessarily don't. I don't love the art. I'll be real about that. But this last issue where she brings in the Kent, the German philosopher, I can't remember his first name, Kent, but his last name's Kent, and it's, the trolley thing. I love that because Harley Quinn is extremely intelligent, and using the trolley idea is so something that I can get behind. Like, I love that idea. If you had a chance, if there's a trolley going and there's 5 people in front of it, and if you move the switch, it only kills 1 instead of 5, but the blood's on your hand. I love those like nuanced philosophy ideas, and her to put that in a book is something I've really not seen a lot of, and she's showcasing that part of her. But is she gonna help? Is Harley going to be involved? Like, we don't see her on anything, so she's got to be writing something else, right? Like, that only makes sense.
It is right. There's one person involved we haven't been talking about. Dennis Culver, who's been the co-writer on here, and the guy who took over for Future State Gotham, which went to crap without Williamson on board. I'm sorry. Future State, I mean, I get it. I know the ideas for Future State Joker ended up becoming Punchline, but did they have to come up with him being a brute?
I wasn't a fan of the no coloring. That's why I don't read manga.
The manga look?
I wasn't a fan of that, but it was okay for about,
6 issues. 6 issues.
It was okay, and then I dropped it simply because, like, I don't know. I don't know who that book's for, but it's not for me.
That series has an identity crisis. Is it trying to be manga, but unsuccessfully? It wants to be black and white, so it has an expensive cover. It's an expensive book. It has reprinted material after the main story.
Yeah,
yes.
It doesn't. To me,
and then they killed off Grifter.
And it's a terrible story. It's Future State. Future State didn't happen. The future never happened. It never occurred on any level. Whether
I know some of it's been avoided.
I
Yes,
mean, the whole
thank
thing
God.
is a gong show, and I don't know. I mean, that's the one series that I actually hope is not selling well. Drew, is it selling well?
No, I think we haven't ordered a copy of that in months, as far as I know.
Wow.
And I dropped it. Now,
I dropped it too.
one other thing about the stuff was the Great Darkness. So apparently the anti-life equation is sentient again. If you go by, that right there
The
next
hand,
to
the empty
yeah,
hand.
that finger, that one, the one with the big light, because that's the sentient anti-life equation that Jim Starlin did in Cosmic Odyssey, which, ironically enough, this whole idea of someone being a mastermind behind everything, Starlin was the first one to do that during Death of the New Gods, where he revealed, the source manipulated everyone. Which is ironic now, because now we know the Great Darkness is antithesis to the source.
I'll say this. Like I said, I just read next week's DC books. There's an interesting new. I guess I won't say new, but like there's something brought up in the next issue of Flash. It's like, interesting. Here.
Well, given how Jeremy Adams is on the know of everything, he's probably setting things up, because he did say on, I think it was when he was you, Tristan, or someone's interview, that he's been working closely with Williamson on stuff.
And go ahead. I'm sorry, Drew.
Sorry. Just gonna real quick. Yeah, this next issue of Flash. Yeah, there's a character brought in. It's like, whoa, I didn't expect him to show up, and he brings up who? Oh, interesting. Okay.
And he also said in that interview that he could not touch Jess Chambers, so she's gonna have some role to play. She's gonna have some role, and I kind of love it, because you know what I liked about that was the relationship with Andy, though. Mm-hmm. So like the back and forth, calling her princess, like all those cutesy little things. Yeah, it's the girl in me. I can't help it. But I wonder how that character is going to be without that back and forth. Like,
I just hope he never meets Andy as a baby, because that would make everything creepy.
Actually, last time we talked, and Rocky, you were on here. You said you the weird you had read already Detective Comics, and it was the big reveal with Psycho Pirate,
which we should have remembered.
Oh my goodness, I love that. It is. I had no idea what was going on in Detective Comics. I'm like, why is this all happening? Psycho Pirate is such a good character, but wasn't he just in Infinite Frontier working with Darkseid?
He was, he was the big I guess he was the Omega Psycho Pirate. So it was it's a little bit wonky, and it's funny. Marika Tamaki in an interview, she said that apparently an editor gave her the idea to use Psycho Pirate, which I find kind of odd. But strangely enough, I'm actually surprised that I'm enjoying like Shadow of the Bat. Like I actually enjoy Psycho Pirate in that series, as crazy as it is. And that surprised me, because I was actually initially pissed off when I saw it was Psycho Pirate. But then I thought, geez, it fits. And it seems really odd that talk about a downgrade. You're Psycho Pirate. You're like the sidekick to one of the most powerful darkest forces in the multiverse. And then you basically get shunned away. And then your next move is to go to Earth Zero and go find your best childhood buddy friend, and to do some long con to rob Gotham City of $6 million to donate to Arkham Tower, and then he loads up on a bunch of drugs and high caffeine drinks to take over all the inmates of Arkham Tower. I mean, it's insane. I mean, it's but this is where it kind of that's kind of like the wonkiness of this new DC, where individually I'm trapped. Individually, I can enjoy the stories individually, the storylines. Yet when I stand back and I look at it as a whole, it feels so wonky. And Drew alluded to it earlier about how sort of like the continuity of the DC universe is definitely not feeling on par. Like it's definitely off a little bit. And so that DC omniverse of everything matters. Well, I'm starting, I kind of want some things to matter. I want some consistency. I want some coherency. Come on.
Well, we've seen worse consistency. And speaking of we've seen worse, people always want to say, oh, look how bad DC's going. DC's been in a slump before. People keep forgetting. They act
yeah.
like it's never been this bad before. Yes, it has.
Yeah. Oh
Well,
yeah.
It's been bad before, and it's not like it's not gonna go out of business. It's not gonna stop printing comics. It's not the end of the world. Everybody, calm down. Let's talk about comics because right now I am enjoying Shadow of the Bat more than I did Fear State. I was gonna say
Mhm.
Oh yes.
Oh, hell
much
yes.
more.
Now, granted,
And
we wouldn't have got
that's-
there without Fear State.
And that says a lot about Mariko Tamaki, how far she's come. Like, by the end of Fear State, I was like, all right, let's go. It's over. You know what I mean? Like, come on
Well, even
now.
in Future State, I had to give her credit. In Future State, she wrote one of the better Future State stories.
Yeah.
What did she
Her
write?
Twain.
She
And I'm
would,
like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That Dan
Yeah, the
Mora art,
detective,
too.
yeah.
I'm giving her credit. I'm actually crediting Mariko Tamaki with writing a good story.
And I kept fearing she was going to have it be where Bruce was going to cave in and admit Jace was the better than him. Never did it. That
Nope,
shocked
never
me. She never did that.
yeah.
And
And you know those
she's
Future
taken a lot of.
State-
Sorry.
Go ahead, Rocky. I'm
I just
sorry.
said I like how she's used all the Bat characters and we're getting a detective comic every week, and she's somehow creating. She actually has character. She's got good character work with fast-paced action in
Mhm.
Shadow of the Bat, and that's difficult to pull off. And yet she's doing it. And we can take issue with the story maybe a little bit and how it started off, but I mean I kind of like it. It's an adrenaline rush. It's short. It's quick. It's not like Fear State, which would just drag on
Yeah.
and it never seemed
Yes.
to end. Shadow of the Bat, we know. We knew how it ended the moment. We know how it ended right in that first opening chapter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now it's like, how the hell did we get there? How does it end
Mhm.
up? Whereas he's splattered on the pavement in front of Gotham PD. How did we get that? What went wrong? And so it's kind of a cool way to tell the story. It's not like it hasn't been done before, but it was a nice change from Fear State.
And one thing I do appreciate about it too is like you said, she's using all these Bat characters that necessarily like that's what Detective Comics should be, kind of in a way, with using the side characters, using the family. And I really like the fall. Sometimes the deconstruction can work, and we're seeing that with Psycho Pirate. Like, I'm hoping, and I don't know if they will go this way, but I'm wondering if they're going to go to the side of addiction, right? He obviously has
That's what
like
it looks
some,
like. They're very much
Mhm.
showing it in that. They're very much
he's
showing
obviously taking like some sort of speed. He's taking some sort of amphetamine to keep himself awake,
Mhm.
and he's gonna crash. We just need to know why that crash happens and when. And I love the idea of kind of talking about mental health in a way that is not necessarily demeaning, and in a way that shows a cautionary tale, right? Like, I know this is all grandiose, and obviously nobody's
and
going to
well,
have
I
an
was-
Arkham Tower, but
It's good
in
in
a
her 'cause
way,
she's
it's
not lecturing us on mental health.
Exactly.
That's what's good about it. So
She's
far.
not being and she's not doing an Ann Nesenti.
And,
Good
and I
God,
think
Ann
that-
Nesenti would always. If you knew about it from people who worked with her, if you knew about how she worked stuff, almost every story she did, she's actually doing it to preach something every time. Like she was told to do for a short novel story was Gambit. She decided like, oh, I'm going to make it about prison reform.
I actually thought that's where this was going,
And so did I.
Initially, yeah, that's what I thought too.
which
Yeah,
is
but-
fine because we can use some prison reform, but it
I
didn't
like
go
the
that
way
way at all. Go ahead, Rocky.
I like the angle that they have where I think it's the tragic part of the story is that Dr. Tobias, or I guess Tobias, he's not really a doctor. Tobias he hates mentally ill people. He hates the insane. He doesn't want to help them. He hates them. He resents them. And that the irony is his so-called best friend, Roger Hayden, suffers from a mental illness or at least an addiction himself. And so there's an irony there, and it's sort of a sad tragedy that, Psycho Pirate always was a loner. And let's face it, whenever Psycho Pirate has shown up, whether it's in Tom King's Batman or Sidekick the Dark Side, he's always been a loner. Has Roger Hayden, Psycho Pirate, ever had any friends really? And he finally has a friend, and his friend hates him too, but he
Uses
just
him.
doesn't know it yet. And there's a tragedy to the story that I'm wondering if it's going to play out that way. But anyways, it's again Mariko Tamaki has put some. I think she's at least alluded to some of these themes.
Can I ask
do you
Drew a
think?
question? Sorry, can I ask
Oh
Drew
yeah,
a
go
question?
ahead.
because now, and Rocky, you too. For the Rocky, do you read much Marvel or do you mostly stick to DC?
I read every single new book every week.
How's it? But yeah, what about you, Rocky?
I read some Marvel, not all of them.
Reckoning War. Has it been worth the wait since Dan Slott's been teasing this since as far back as his She-Hulk run? Was it worth the wait or was it not worth it?
It was a fun. I mean, it was an alright comic. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was good.
But he's been building it up for all this time after all this build up.
No, I would say it wasn't. If that's the case, if I were waiting for this storyline since it's She-Hulk stuff, then I would say no. But
I would agree, especially so you're bringing in the stuff from the Watchers from a Strange Tales story, and you're just retconning it into a bigger mess.
Yeah, and the moon's destroyed, and you're not really making. That's a big flipping deal, and you're not.
You brought back Uatu, and you killed him off again.
Yeah. It's all right.
I just wanted to ask that because Lord knows I love Dan Slott's She-Hulk run. Whenever I heard about Reckoning War, I was wanting to wait for it. But now that we got it, I'm like, that's it. That's what this big event is about. That's what's causing basically you're having be. So in other words, the Watchers were the Guardians once, the Guardians of the Galaxy once.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, pretty. Yeah, I would say like the guys from Alien Prometheus. Giving intelligence.
I was just curious. I didn't want to go any further. I just want to ask someone who also read Marvel stuff.
I never read it. I never read Reckoning War yet.
All right.
I was curious how you guys are enjoying the main Batman line. The stuff with Batman Inc., The Abyss, like the art is, oh my God.
It's too good.
Yeah.
Now, do you think they're setting up Lex to finally become something tied to the Bat stuff? Like, we already saw him wearing a Superman suit. It looks like we're building up to him putting on a Bat suit.
I don't know. Like, I feel like at the end of that last issue, Abyss was Abyss in control?
That's what I took.
Yes.
That's what I read it.
That's what I took from it, too.
Yes. Yeah.
So, this is going to be like one of those team-ups that, like, I don't know. Maybe he will get a bat suit, but I love this Abyss character. The way he's drawn, his design.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this feels so fresh compared to Tinian. And I didn't hate
Rocky's
Tinian's
a
run. I
ghost.
liked it.
Well, not just that. There isn't a bombardment of dialogue, and things are actually happening. It's focused on Batman again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, but the fact, though, that some of these Batman Inc. guys have been so quick to turn on him, that rubs me the wrong way.
Well, Abyss
I think they might be they might be, you never know, Abyss might be controlling them somehow. In the same way that Abyss made Batman blind, might be another way through now.
That is true. That is true. And thankfully the Knight's not there. If the Knight was involved, I'd have issues.
I just think that he's in control, and I actually have. I know I don't get to ask these questions very often, but did you guys read this latest Joker?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're on the same page. The A-Day reveal.
I saw it come. I mean, I should know. Not that I saw it coming. Once I look back, it was set up long ago. It was set up from the very beginning. When you once you know everything that's happened now, it's like you mind if I earmuffs to anyone who hasn't read it. Sorry, I'm taking your line, Tristan, but...
Oh, no, you're totally fine. I just felt like Bane was so like, oh, okay, cool.
Hey, after
like,
what...
It wasn't anybody I was super excited about. Why, like, use somebody, I don't know, like, I think I would have been happier if it was Mad Hatter. Somebody you would have never expected.
True, but Tristan, after what I showed you was Batman TMNT, the second one was how they handled Bane in that one. This is right up Tinian's alley.
That's true. What do you think, Rocky?
Well, at first I was wondering, a lot of people have asked the question, well, then who is the Bane in Task Force Z?
Clone.
So
right.
Obviously, it must be a clone, and we saw the clone facilities in the Joker series, so we know that that's certainly a possibility. And if Bane set up A-Day, Bane faked his death, Bane, sets up the Joker, and does a sizable job of it. I don't know. I'm curious to see how Tinian weaves together, and because there's 2 more issues left, I think he's writing for issue 14.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see exactly the finer details in terms of how it all played out. Personally, I was hoping for a different direction because I I don't because the reason I'm a little disappointed in it because Tinian didn't do a good job of setting up the mystery. Another person who's really bad at it is Tom King. Like, but no, like it's important though to make the point that when a writer sets up a mystery, if a good mystery is one that has clues that is solvable. We, the readers, ought to be able to solve the mystery based on the clues given. When there's no clues given in any part of the narrative, and then suddenly somebody shows up and then we're told what this character did, but we weren't giving any hints at all in the story, that's not good. Through all of AD, through all of Fear State, through all of that, where were the clues
Actually,
that did this? There, I mean, well, maybe they're there and you can correct me,
I've
but
seen
I personally don't, I think, maybe again, I'm waiting to see the next 2 issues. Tell me what I missed. Tell me the clues that I missed.
The clues were there in the Joker War story where he confronts Bane. Basically, much like he's been throughout this whole story, even though it's Joker in the title, the Joker's been a red herring, a scapegoat, someone to put the blame on. So those that Bane wanted to manipulate, those who have been manipulating him would have a target because Joker, by confronting Bane, gave him the perfect patsy. Basically be like, well, clearly the Joker had to do it, so let's unleash vengeance to go get Joker and everything. And all of these things fell into place. So if you look at that moment as the moment Bane realized, I have the perfect moment to execute this plan, that's when you realize everything fell into place.
Well, what's the plan?
The plan is to bring down those who... like we found out before, these people have been from Santa Prisca have been manipulating him his whole life, and Bane clearly has known that. So the whole point is to get revenge on them. How this family was going to get ties and everything, that's the one confusion. But it's clear to bring out the secret cabal that's been manipulating him his own life and created vengeance.
So he's working with the court for that? You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like there wasn't enough.
He set that up in Tomasi during Forever Evil.
Yeah, no. My point still stands. There was none of that in Fear State.
Yeah.
There was...
not in Fear State itself, no. Not in Fear State itself.
Is that Bane caused AD. And there was no clue that Bane caused AD. No, Tinian had years to set Fear State up. He wrote it all, and now... again, maybe he's going to tell me what I missed, in which case I'll happily put my foot in my mouth. Okay. And I miss things all the time, but I had my own theory, but I won't go into it. But suffice to say, I've been enjoying the Joker series. I've enjoyed it as a Jim Gordon story more than a Joker story.
Yeah,
definitely.
I've enjoyed it as a Jim Gordon story. So
I love the last issue. I love the last issue with him figuring out like Cassandra, like, sent to follow me. She's not going to actually hurt me. No way Barbara would actually have her hurt me.
That is a lot of these backup stories, right? A lot of them I don't read, but that's the one I religiously read just because I actually feel like that story has a little bit more legs than, I don't know, John Jones. I guess I read the one in Detective too, but the stuff going on with Punchline, I like reading. I like that character, but I got to agree with Rocky here. There wasn't enough to set up to make me actually think that in any chance in hell this was Bane, and then seeing him in Task Force C. I know it's a clone, I get that, but like, we should have been able to at least speculate. And nobody was even speculating who it was because they were just like, well, even Joker said it wasn't him, but it probably was. Like, it was just, it felt anticlimactic.
Yeah, but bear in mind too that what's a little annoying is that the Bane in Task Force Z also has Bane's memories. Because remember in Task Force Z, Jason Todd killed Bane, like pushed him off revenge for killing Alfred. So and clearly Bane had the memories of that. So I mean this was I think kind of manipulating us readers into believing something that's not, so I feel a little bit pissed off because it's not again, there's not even clue. Well, I guess there are clues maybe.
Hey Rocky, maybe they are the same. Maybe they are the real Bane. It's just they're not in alignment. Maybe it's just like, you want to use Bane? Yeah, sure, whatever. It's him.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the unfortunate truth of DC Comics.
Exactly. Not news all over the place. So yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, that's true.
And even if that's the case, what Robert was saying about him wanting, to get revenge on Santa Prisca and everything else, there's only 2 issues left. Like, you've got a lot to deal with. And then where does
the
that
family
leave
fall
the
into play?
Simpsons?
Yeah.
I like the Simpsons. They're menacing as hell.
But
Like,
Joker's like been a footnote in his own book.
well, I mean, it's still been. I still like it as a Jim Gordon story. I think it's a great like introspective book.
It's
for
like
Jim.
Tomb of Dracula. It's like Tomb of Dracula. I think Jerry Conway put it best when working on the Carnage book. It's less about the villain who's on the title and more about everything around them.
Yes. What were you going to
feel
say,
that
Drew?
way. I feel that way about Punchline. I feel that Punchline hasn't been around enough in the backup. I would have liked to have heard more background on Punchline as opposed to Bluebird and all the ancillary characters. But anyways.
At least we're finally getting to the trial.
But yeah, Drew, what were you saying?
Drew?
No. I was just going to say that I like, yeah, you said it's good to have some of those characters that are like those key characters in the background, like the Garth Ennis's Punisher. You know, it's all about the villains, you know, front and center, how evil they are, and then bring in the Punisher to knock them out. It's like,
every time.
Yeah, and I love that. And so it's kind of like that with the Joker, but they sold it as a Joker book. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. That's where I take issue with it.
I totally get it. So we're going to wrap up. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Robert, do you have anything coming up that you want to plug and let everyone know about?
Possibly. Probably a new Pro Teaches New. Haven't figured out who's joining me, what day or whatnot. I do know what we'll be talking about. A bunch of the Transformers crossovers, Ghostbusters, Terminator, and Back to the Future.
Awesome.
But again, who I'll be having on, I don't know yet.
That sounds fun. What about you, Rocky? Besides I know you got your normal reviews.
Yeah, we got the weekly review, and then I'll be reviewing King of Spies #3 probably by the weekend. So
awesome. What were you going to say, Robert? I'm sorry.
That's all right. I was going to say also I'm going to have a John Suntress from Word Balloon on my show on Sunday.
Oh, that's awesome. He's such a good guy. I love watching his interviews. They're so good. Like that last one he did with Kelly Sue DeConnick and Phil Jimenez when they were going through the book. It's so cool to look and hear from the creator themselves the work that went into something.
Definitely.
Like that.
And then
cool.
And then on Wednesday, I'm going to have the guys from the YouTube channel Console Wars on my show as well.
Awesome. What about you, Drew? What do you got going on that you want to plug?
Oh God, what don't I have going on? Yeah, we got our weekly reviews on the Comics Elite channel, and we're going to be fulfilling Born of Blood #1 this month, which is terrific.
Awesome.
Right on.
And I'm going through the pages right now for Born of Blood #2, finalizing that art, which is looking amazing. And so I'll be co-writing with Marat Michaels his Red Sonja crossover. So
on.
Got that going on.
Very cool. That's so cool. That's awesome. Bianca, Miss Quiet over there.
Oh, hello.
Are you still with us? Do you have anything going on your channel you want to plug?
Not that I know of.
Well, we do have Bad Ideas coming out on Monday, Valentine's Day, where we gush in a super girly way about all the best couples in DC.
Ha 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 ha.
And all of them. Oh my gosh, Bianca.
I do have some news though.
Oh yeah?
I just got a link that it's now confirmed that the Defenderverse that's on Netflix is going to be moving to Disney because Disney now has the rights.
Oh, so all of those little shows they used to have, like Punisher and stuff?
Yeah.
That explains why it's leaving Netflix.
If they have Iron Fist, hopefully they'll write him better.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for stopping by. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And everybody's channel link is in the description. Make sure you check them out. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.